Alright, so this is, I've got to design a gate for a job that we're doing, and I'm going to use Garden CAD, which is what I usually use. And part of this tutorial is to also show my gate manufacturer how to use Garden CAD to do his own plans, because I suggested to him that instead of hand drawing them, this might be a better way to go about it. But on top of that, also, it's for anyone who wants to make a set of gates. If you're a landscaper or a concrete or whatever, and you want to make some gates part of the job, then this is a good way to go about it. So this is a previous job that we've done. I don't have photos. That's not the gates that were actually done, but they're very much like that. So basically, the house is here. This is the wall. And we put a post in here. You can see the concrete, and this is the neighbouring boundary wall there. So we had a partition section here, and two gates that latched in the middle. And this was mounted to the house. So you can see there's a 50mm post there on this gate hangs off, and another one here concreted in, and it's stabilised across with this partition. That's just one of them. There's two more here. Here's another one. This is on the layout sheet, and I've done that similar, and I've put the pickets on there. This was done a while ago. So there's the model space. There's another one, and here's a double gate that we done. Yeah, it had a few other little things. These cross members here in it as well. This gate here, these gates, you've got a layout here, and that's what we finally sent to the gate constructing Dave, his name is, to Dave, and just showing him how it all. Well, I don't think we ended up doing these two bars here. I think I just simplified it at this point. I wasn't going to draw all the little bars in like my previous ones. He gets the idea. Tube 30 to be 30 or 35 to be confirmed. So I sort of simplified the design and didn't put the parallel bars in. So this one is eventually ended up like this. That's this gate here, and this is wood screw. So typically we build our gates this way. We get our posts in first, and then we measure the openings, and then we get the gates made to the opening sizes. You don't go get the gate made first and then make your posts to the gate. It's better to do it this way. In this case I wanted thicker rails. You can't see the back, but it's all this powder coated rails. This one will be powder coated later. That was a bit of an afterthought, because we had this is Hebel wall, and it was the post was coming off the wall. It wouldn't attach to fasten to the wall properly, so we had to put a bar across here and check it in to strengthen this so it would stop leaning in. It's a bit annoying, because that's the problem with some of these Hebel houses. You can't really get any strength into your posts on the walls if you want to mount the gate to the wall side, which is the good side to mount it, because otherwise it opens into the garden bed, and you always like to open, I think it's that direction, left to right. So yeah, that's what some of them look like. Others look different. So what I'm going to do is make a gate, design a gate for this other job we've got. All the measurements are in my head, so I hope I've got it right. So at the moment, this next plan will be for just quoting from. You can construct from it, but everything will have to be just confirmed, the sizes and stuff. So just go a new job. Okay. So if you're starting first time, and this is probably one of the easier things to make if you're starting, it's no curves or anything like that involved in it. This is how I start. The Garden CAD tutorials might be able to provide more better shortcuts and things like that if you just watch these tutorials from the Garden CAD guy. So first thing I do is, obviously you go file, new, and you create a new file. So it's got no name there. Be sure to save a bit so you don't lose your work. It used to automatically save, it doesn't do that anymore, but it does back up occasionally. So first thing I do is draft settings. So I just right click in the middle, draft settings, and don't need grid on, that's fine, you just leave that the way it is. Polar tracking just means that the increments at sort of where the cursor locks on as you move the cursor around, it sort of locks on at 45 degrees, 90 degrees, 180, etc. So increments here are 45. I always have that on generally, unless you're doing some other things, but let's learn it later. And object snap, I actually turn on everything here unless I don't need it. And you can turn these on down here, so they just come on there. You can flick them on and off down here too, but I have them on. Line weight doesn't matter at the moment. Draw line. What we're going to do is, when you design these, you should be doing it from the back of the gate. That's how the constructor likes to do the drawings, so they work from behind, not from the front. So yeah, it's alright though. I'm just trying to think, I've forgotten my measurements. I don't think it matters too much. So the posts we have are 90 by 90, and I think it doesn't really matter how the gates are going to be 1800. I think the posts are out of the ground 1850. We haven't decided the ground level, so what I do is I get you, first thing you do, go to draw line. So you're just going to draw a simple line. Starting point, doesn't matter where you start, you can start anywhere you want. And we're going to see how it locks on and polar track. So this is going to lock onto what would that go? So that's 90. What have they got here? 0, 90, and that's 270. So 270 degrees. We're just going to go straight down. We can go up if you want. Doesn't really matter. I'll just tend to go down. So, and we're going to make this post. Let's say. So that's 2.4 because that's the size of the post we made. So I just type in 2400. Now you can see it down here. Next point 2400. I made a mistake because I actually typed 18 before I cleared it. So 2400, and we just get that onto the snap onto the polar tracking. So it snaps on there. You can sort of see it snaps like that, and just press enter, and then you've got your line. And that line is 2400 millimeters or 2.4 meters. And then what I do is I go line again. I'll show you a shortcut for that. You can go like that. And we know the post is 90 mils, so we just lock it in at 180 degrees. Type 90, see down below, 90, and just press enter. Oh no, because we have polar tracking on, it followed that angle. Well, not polar tracking because we moved it around. So we'll erase that. Draw a line there. 90, enter. Back down, make a parallel with that. Lock it in at that angle. No, not 90. 240. 2400. Locked in, and then you can, if you've got object snap on, you should just be able to put the cursor on that and see where the square. It's either got square or just past. Usually a square is that sign there means it's spot on, so it's all joined up nicely. So the next thing we want to know is the total. Well, actually what we'll do first, we'll just draw, because we've got little caps on the ends of these. Not mismark that one. Press it. So one way I'm doing things and not explaining them. One way to do is instead of going draw a line each time, so you go line, click there. We want 45 degrees. We'll just go. I'm just going to manually do it. Click it out where it's 45 there, and then I'll get another one on this side from that way, like that. And you can bring these in like that, but there is a way to trim them too. I don't actually use the trim tools. The trim tools are here. So, for instance, extend or trim. So you could select this, trim, and then you click that end. I don't know how to do. I don't usually do it. I just drag it back into the point. For the most part, but there is the trim functions there. It's probably should use it if you can. I'll probably work a bit differently than other people. I just sort of throw myself into it as I'm doing it. So forgive me if it's not how you might do it or someone else. So I use a lot of lines just to get reference myself. So for instance, we know this post is 2400, but we want to get a gate in here that's 1800 tall. So what I'll do is I'll just get another line and I'll just start on that corner and I'll type 1800 down, and we know that that's where my ground level is going to be. So if I just click on this again, well, let me start that again. Erase. We'll go 1900 actually. Line 19, and you'll see why in a second. I had the wrong measurement there. So this is our 1900 mark. Go back there. You can, if we click that, we can delete that one because we've got our reference. That's our ground level. This all makes sense in a bit. Now, opening of our gate is 1205 millimeters. So there's two ways to get an opening for this. The general way might be to get a point. So you might go like that to there, and then you go out to here, and you write 1205, and you press enter, and that gives us our opening. So from that point to there is our opening, but I generally don't even bother with the points. I'll just go draw line. I'll start from there. I'll go 1205, and that's my starting point. And then what I'll go down there is 2400 again. This is our second post. We go that way again, 90. And notice I haven't keep going up there and press draw. It just keeps going. 2400. And then we can put a cap on, but we'll go there first. We'll draw another cap. So that's about 45. We'll go that. You can see it's getting pretty quick. Even though if I wasn't explaining this, I'd have this plan done pretty quickly. To be honest, it's just my problem is I spend too much time in the detail. So I'll be detailing out, and I'm just gonna stop doing that. Draw line. So what we're going to do, we're just going to make a baseline through there, which is our that's our ground level. Now, if you wanted to, you could go polyline, and this is your concreted in, and then you go enter filled, and then you might grab that, and we'll put a grey colour in like that, and we'll make it transparent. I'll just get a 100, and now you can sort of see that the concrete, there's a concrete foundation there. That's where the post starts from. You don't have to do it. I like detail, but yeah, the constructor's gonna get the drawing, the image, the idea without actually having done any of that stuff anyway. But for fun, we're gonna do it because it looks good. Enter filled. Grab that. We'll change the color here if you wanted to. 253 is the last color we used. Transparencies here. Knock that up from 255. I don't know what 255 means. I think they're just the max values. From 1 to 255 is a transparency. 1 being basically no color, to 255 being almost solid, and 100 always seems to be a good number to use. So there's our concrete footings. Yeah, there's actually another post here too, if I'm correct. Draw a line. Go like this. I think it's 480 mil this opening, but it's not going to matter at the moment for the sake of getting a quote. We can. I'm almost certain it's that though, and it's 2400 again. That's the wrong one. So in this case, you can just. Well, you can't actually do that here, but with the polyline, you can usually click undo. I don't often make that mistake, but I'll just escape that, erase it, and then go back to, if you want to draw again now and you've just in the normal cursor mode and you can actually just click enter. Oh no, erase button options there. Forget I said that. So line, get back onto the object snap onto the end of the corner. 90. Oh, I made a mistake, did I? No. Yeah, 90s. Alright, I'll put a little dash at the end. It didn't seem to affect it, so it's okay. So I'll probably do another one of these videos for next gate. This is just an initial one on how to use Garden CAD to design some gates. So in the construction side of things, we put these posts in first, which we already have. Posts are in. Then we measure all our openings and our heights we want. We've got some rough idea of the height we want, typically the 1800 tall, these gates. So we make the gate frame at 1700 and that gives like a bit of play each way, and to put panels on there that are 1800, unless the gate is all manufactured. See, this one's going to have timber on it, timber battens, so we're going to do the gate height with the battens, and we're just going to keep the frame a bit shorter. And because we're only getting the frame made by the gate manufacturer, we've already put the posts in. This is not so much about the posts, this is more just about the frame. So you could just ignore this and just put the just make a frame, draw a frame up. But for the reference of the for the constructor, it's really important that they know where these posts are, because they've got to know where they've got to weld the hinges on, where they've got to weld the brackets on, where they've got to weld the drop bolt down. Yeah, it's just helpful to know, and what it's mounting to sometimes, because it might not be, the hinge might have to run a different direction or something. Generally, the general rule is you put the hinges on the back of the post, so you don't put them on the side in here, you put them on the back right here, especially for outside gates and stuff. It allows them to be easily adjusted, because things move in the ground, they're not on a house slab, so this could move a little bit. That moves a little bit, plus they're heavier than doors and stuff too, so usually big brackets, so you want a bit of room and strength to mount them, and they're always stronger on the back sitting flat than on a 90-degree angle back in. So it's important to get these all quite plumb. So what we're going to do here, I'm just going to remind myself what the spacing is for these. See, and you see on this one here, I haven't even actually done the posts in there or anything. I've gotten kind of lazy. I don't think I need to do it in that one, but they still come out alright. You see, you can see them here again. Let's see, I'm gonna find which one has, see, that one hasn't got a post either. We'll close that one down. Menu bar back. I've never had that happen before. I'll move the bars around. No. This is the actual job that we're actually putting the gate into. You can see I've done another gate there. It's just suggested in this part here. This is an old plan. I think I don't need that one either. That's actually not even the one I'm using. No. It's another thing. Minimize that. I can't seem to find my plans now. So this is back to the other. This is the actual plan for our job. So that's where the gate's going here, decorative timber block gate, and that's what we're putting just there. For some reason I can't seem to find my files that they're not here. That's what we're working on. That's there. That's the other one. This is not looking good, is it? line's important, so let's not lose that. Tells me what I'm up to. Okay, so I can't find the previous drawing. The reason I was looking for a previous drawing is because I wanted to know the spacing of the hinges and the latch. I know the latch size. I think the hinges are just 5mm. So that, just from memory, that's what you require. So Kate's going to latch on that side there. This is actually a bit backwards. It's supposed to be on that side, but it's not going to matter. What I'll do is I'll just take this line off this fence, just left click on it, click copy, click again, move it out, and I'll type the space in, which is going to be 5mm. So just 5, enter. Oh, hasn't done it. Oop, okay, something's gone wrong there. So copy 5. That's done it now. See, so there's your 5mm, and that's our hinge gap we've got there. Now it's at 2400. We don't want it at 2400, and we want the gate to be frame to be about 50mm off the ground. So we'll get this bottom level here. We'll copy that, and we'll move that up 50mm too. And then we'll just using these other references. You're always working off our previous reference, our ground height or post height, and then we'll just move those back to that one. Snap that onto the corner, and you'll see how this frame starts to come together. And then this one here, that's our top height. We're going to come down with this one. We can just move this. We'll just move this down 50mm. So make sure you keep the polar tracking right, because if you move it like that, it's going to move on an angle, and we don't want that because it moves at 50mm an angle. It's not going to be straight. So 50 down like that, and then we'll join these together again too. Onto there, and then this side here is 16mm. And again, we'll join these together. This is just how I do it. So you know, there's 101 ways to skin a cat, so if you want to, we'll bring that one in too. Now you can use the trim tool here. I just always bring them in, because I think sometimes at the time I select that, trim tool, come back, select the other side, trim it. I may as well just grab this and just drag it to the end, and it's all joined up. See, that's our gate frame right there internally. What we're going to do is we're going to move these again. So we copy this, and we just, after we copy, we just use see the polar tracking is on. So that way there, specify, but we're going to go straight down, and then we're going to type in 30 because we've got a 30mm frame. So there's 30. We're going to do the same on this one. Copy this one. I'm going to move this one that way and just type 30. Enter. I'm going to do the same on this one. Copy. You got to do that second click to get it to move, to make the copy. 30, enter. So I'll just take you through. We go, select this line, right click, copy, select the line again, and then you move it to where you want it, because that's made the copy. And before you move it, see it's just moving freely. You get it in the position, so it just snaps into its, when I say snap, it polar tracks into its position to go straight up, and you just type your 30 and you're done. Now you can pull out these corners if you want, because typically these will be they'll be welded, but it just, you know, whether you keep them like that or that, I don't think it really matters for this drawing. And then you've got to find the middle of this, because we've got to put a rail through the middle, and then we've got to put the bracing in, and that's probably the most important part of any gate. So where are we? We're going to go to the draw tools. Draw. I always I tend to go. These are all these shortcuts here, so I can go draw here, line, like that. But I just like the drop down boxes. I don't know what it is. It's just habitual. It's just something rather than the shortcuts. But the shortcuts might work for you. line, and what we're going to do is we're going to find out the middle first. That's what we're going to do. So another way to do, I think this is usually up there. I think I moved it before. So we're going to get tools, distance. We're going to find the center. We know it's 1700, so 1740. Ooh. That doesn't seem right. That's 1900. So it would be 1800 gate. So the gate's a little bit big. I think I've got these posted out of the ground. Let's have a look. So if we go dimensions, linear, just see what that's going to. That's 1900. It means I made the gate 1800, but I think I was going to have the gate finish that height there. So what I want to do is actually bring this down 100 mil. So I can actually erase that. Copy this one internally. Move it down another 50 mil. Erase that, or we can copy it and then move that down 100 mil, and we'll get our exact, or actually 80 mil, and we'll get our exact amount. But we won't do that because it just gets confusing. I'm confusing it at the moment, bad enough as it is. So we'll get this one copy, and we'll go down 30. This will all make sense in the end, I think. Better because we'll have the gates will be wrong. But this is just the first drawing. Send it to the gate guy. Get the price. This is it. Pretty sure this is the size. It's 1205 wide. Oh, minus 16 mil and minus 5 mil. So you're basically minus 21 mil off the total opening, and that gives you your gap for your I think actually 10 mil on that side. So it might be actually 26 mil is the total gap there. But that's okay. He'll tell me if I'm wrong, and he'll hopefully see this video too. So we should have a new measurement now, and then we can go dimensions, linear. We'll see what that is there. We've got 1660 internally, which makes sense because which doesn't make sense. And so I dropped it down even further. 16, so it means 20 mil. That can't be 20 mil. Making a lot of mistakes. It's 131. So what we want to actually do is come up on this one, 40 mil. And then we can move this up to there. Copy those two lines there, we'll erase them. I think we've finally got it right now. 30. This is probably more likely how they're done from memory. They're not mitered, they're just welded on square from memory. So if we get rid of this measurement, I only use the dimensions tool to show in the plan and just to measure, but to actually measure, if you want to measure, you can actually just go tools, distance, click here, and you'll find that 1700 down here says perimeter and distance 17 meters, 1700 millimeters. So we're going to go 1700 divided by 2 is 850. So we're looking for 850, but remember we've got a minus. It's going to be a bar through the middle, so it's 850. It's 30. It's 15 mil. So it's actually 850 minus 15 is 56. And that's divided by 15. We want 850 minus 15, 835. So we go draw line from here, actually from here. Since I have the right measurement then. Yeah, that's right. Back to where we are. So we went in 835. 835. And that should be the edge. Something's gone wrong there. I think it's gone. We've typed in 8, more than 835. So draw a line from the top. Remember, this is just to give us our reference, 835. That's the middle. So now we know the middle bar goes there. So I'm going to go to there. I'll drag this. What I tend to do, if I try to drag onto that line and connect it directly, I can never get polar tracking correct. It won't polar track sitting on that line. But if I go past it, it polar tracks. So if I go like that, I'll end up making a mistake. So I go past it, snap it, well, not snap it, polar track it, and then I bring it back and snap it on, because that way it stays straight. That's just how I do it. I just find that works. It never used to do this in earlier versions. It used to polar track onto the line, and I don't know why they stopped that happening. There must be some drafting reason, or I don't know. So we get copy, because we took 15mm off the center. Now that's our edge of it, so we can copy this. We can bring it down 30mm, and that's our middle bar. It should be directly in the middle. We're going to delete this because that was all that was doing, was telling us the gap that we required. That's the only reason I use the line. So this line is useless now. And we've got our most of our frame done. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to draw a little poly line, a little box. I'll do one here. This is just going to represent the hinge. They're about 100mm, so you can type in 100 if you want. 100 and say they're 50. And we'll just guess that to there. And lock it in and enter it filled. We'll just pick a pretty colour. It sort of represents steel, I guess. That'll do. I'm going to put a bit of transparency on that, because I like to see the lines underneath. And now they can see it. Now we just copy that, copy, and we're just going to move it down. It's in no specific point, it's just representing where the hinges go. And you can see the polar tracking line. It sort of just clicks in. So that's going to be lined up directly with that. And we just put it anywhere here. Usually it's about 150 million from the bottom. So there are two hinges. Now we're going to do our brace. So you draw line. This is probably a bit trickier. You can just go from the corner there. Well, I'm going to go from the corner 15mm in, and then I'm going to run it down. What does polar tracking do? It's not locking for some reason. Yeah, because it's 45s. Anyway, we can just sort of, what you could do, let's exit that. We go draw line. We go from the corner. We go up 15mm. Type in 15. Enter. Now you got a little line here, and you got. And if you hold down Shift, you zoom in. No, you don't need Shift to zoom in. I'm just zooming in, but you keep that one selected. Zoom in. Hold down Shift again. Select that one, and now you got two references. And now you can use your object snap. You go draw line, you can snap that onto the corner, it'll snap on. Let's find out. You can zoom in a bit and watch it snap on. That blue snap there, and the other one should still be in place, so you can see the line, and you can snap it onto there. And then you've got a nice, you've got it running 15mm each side. Whether they do that in the shop, I'm not too sure. I don't pay that much attention. They might just run it from there. They might do it that way. I can't recall. Just the gates always look pretty good when I get them, so I'm not that bothered by it. Now that's 30mm again, so we go 30, and there's our braces in. You can see it's overhanging a bit here. I think because they did make that 15mm and I thought it was 30. I don't know what's going on. It looks a bit wider there, so I think it's got to do with the way the miter cut affects the. It's affecting the distance. Like it's not square. Like it's not just because you get 15 there doesn't mean that it's going to be 15 out there, because it's on the diagonal as it comes in. If that makes sense. I don't know how you'd explain that any other way, but so there's our brace. Yeah, so our game frame's nearly done. If you wanted to, you can go into more detail. For instance, you could go to draw. How do you do this? I was thinking you could fill it all in colour. But you know what we should do first is right click here, new layout, and we can see our gate coming together here. And what we'll do is, if you just click on model layout there, I don't know what's happened here, something's gone wrong. Let me delete that. Start a new one, new layout, that's better. We click on this line here, and we stretch out this, they call this a viewport. We'll go into this more detail another time, but the viewport here, this is basically your print preview, you could call it, as a simpler way of doing it. And this viewport is a lens to inside the model window. So this is the model window where we're doing all our drafting. And then layout 2, we'll call it layout 2 because we deleted the first one, is what it looks like on printed paper. So this is the layout on the paper. Because we're going to open the viewport up to match the paper, and we'll just get out to that corner there, and then we're pretty happy with that because it pushes out to this A4 piece. We know it's A4 because if you right click on it, Layouts Manager, you can see it's paper size here. It's A4 and it's in portrait. We'll cancel that. And then where it's grid, when you've selected the grid, I just double click it, and then we can, this viewport, we can shrink it down to match our drawing. Right, we go back to layout 2, and then see how that's serrated there. You can just double click and it just locks it in. And then to get back on it later, you can double click again and go back, and then click back to the layout, see it's serrated, double click and you lock it in again. That's something to, but yeah, you can see this is sort of coming together pretty well. The line weights are on. We turn that off, let's have a look at it. That's with no line weights. Depending what you're drafting, line weights are good or bad. It just depends how the drawing is looking. This drawing looks pretty good with the line weights on high because they stand out more. So yeah, that's the first bit. We'll keep going, and what we're going to do is we're going to do 3 30mm bars, because what I'm going to do here is this is what I've been doing lately is I won't use timber here as cross members. I'll just get the same steel, and I'll get the gate guy to cut me 3 pieces, and I'll check them into the back of the timber, and I'll screw them in the same way as I do to the grate frame, and then and it just looks neater. It looks really good because usually it's stronger too, because this will be powder coated the same, and it just goes straight across and look pretty neat. That's what I found. I don't have any photos here. I can't really show you with this one, but this doesn't done the same way. You can see it's black there, and this is actual. See how the frame is the same width all the way through. So that section, and that section's powder coated and galvanized there. That one is too, and along the bottom. It looks really neat. It looks good from the back too. You see this big piece of treated pine that's sort of a bit out of order, out of line with everything else. So I highly recommend it. Alright, and and from memory this was 480. So, but I'm gonna double check all these measurements. This is just to send to him, show him what I want it done. Again, I'd just use lines as references usually. So say I want to get this line across here, I'll just click it across. We'll get to there, and we're going to have that checked in about 1/3 of the post width. So 1/3 of 90 mils is about 30 mil, but I'm probably going to go 45, I reckon. So we'll go, that's about more like half. We just guess it at this stage. It doesn't really matter. We'll fine tune it later, like that. So we go copy down 30 mil, and that's where it'll be checked in. So we're going to get 3 like that. But what we can do, we can go draw, polyline. We just polyline it. This is probably the best way to go. Just want that to snap onto there. For some reason that's not straight. Oh, because I haven't started in the right spot. So sometimes just check where you're starting, because it might not click exactly where you want it. Not because of the program, because it's hard to see. So like from back here, I looked like it was on there. So I go polyline and I'm there, but I'm actually, so I think I'm close, and I'm just sort of gone off a little bit when I've done it, and I've gone to there, but then you look close, you're off it. So, and if you want to go back to poly, you don't have to go draw polyline, just press enter, and I'm back to the polyline start point. So don't forget to use your enter key. I think the 2 most important things is your distance, and then using the enter key to repeat the instruction. It really makes a big difference in your drafting speed. So that's like that, and we follow it all the way to the end. Down there, and then now you can drag this out to the direction you need. You don't even have to. You can actually do it here, and then you right click and you go enter filled, and it just automatically follows. So this is going to be a steel bar. I don't know what colour to pick. No, I'll just say that colour. I don't want transparency for this one. Now what we should do, we're going to get dimensions, tools, distance. We measure from here to here, and that was the same measurement as before. It's 805. Now I don't know if that's going to work. If you go, I'm going to copy that, bring that down. If we just type in 805, we're just off, I think. So what we're above it. So what we want it to be is 835. So sometimes I'm not sure if it's taking the measurement from this side or that side. So copy that again, not a big problem. Copy, move down, 835, enter, and it's spot on. And we're going to do the same again. Copy, move down, 835. Oh, that's wrong. That must be, I don't know. I'm having a bad night at this. But yeah, you get the point. 865. So we want to be 895. It's pretty easy to fix. And then we're at the bottom. So our gate's coming together pretty well. Let's put some details in there for him. We'll start with some dimensions, linear. So we'll probably put this one out here. So this shows the you can press enter again for the dimension. Put that down to there. 1900 is the height. And then we're going to show the height of the gate. You could possibly even just remove the gate from this at this stage. So you could go select this gate, copy, move it out so it's on its own, and I haven't removed anything else with it. And you could do something like this, draw. There's lots of options just to make it clearer in your instructions to the gate guy or whoever's making your gates. your work employee maybe onto there. Enter filled. We'll put that one in there. Well, this will indicate that it's the same gate outside that zone. That makes sense, but then they can see the instruction clear without lots of dimensions overlapping each other. Just make sure they don't make two gates on you, I suppose. That's the only thing. I don't think it's going to happen. I'll spend 20 minutes picking a colour first. That'll do. And we're going to put lots of transparency on that. We're going to go down to 50 this time. Looks good. And instead of recopy rather than do another polyline around the other one. I've forgotten something else here actually. What I'm going to do, erase that. This is how we should do it. Well, hang on, let me start again. We're going to have a good methodology going on, but we don't. We can get that highlighted, copy that, take that over there, get rid of that. Oh no, leave that there. We're going to just draw polyline, and we're going to go, actually let's do it this way. We're going to go, the battens on this one are going to be 35 by 35, but they're going to be, so they'll be 1800, too much, 1800 long, so 35 mil. And then we'll go back again, 1800. So typing 1800, you see down there in the command line, enter, and then we can snap it onto there like that. Well, best way to do this is just right click, enter filled, done. Check our colour. We're gonna have dark. They're gonna be painted black, but we won't go for solid black. And I'm gonna just copy this board, and this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna put them on like this. See, they're the wrong size. I made a little bit of a mistake. That's supposed to be 1700. I keep going, I don't know what I'm thinking. So really what I need is, yeah, I made that the wrong size, but don't worry about it. I'll fix it up later. For intended purposes of building the gate, it doesn't matter. So we'll get 1850. I need them to be 1800 actually, because the bits of timber I'm buying, they're 5400, so that divides to 1800, and I don't want to waste timber. Oh shit, I've got an 85. Oh, have I? What have I done? So this is a good thing about polylines, you can just undo that, go back again, and I don't even upset anything, just go 35, enter, and that's better. And then I've got 1850 this way. We'll just go enter filled, choose it, we'll choose black this time. I'm going to copy that, and what we're going to do, when I do this gate, when I finally do this gate, I'm going to do it that it's about 1700, and that this board is going to hang 50 mil top or bottom, or actually I might do it 1750 and it'll be either flush on the bottom like that and a bit higher on the top. I prefer that it's probably 50-50 because one, it looks better when it just overhangs the top a bit more, and then two, if you ever have to adjust the gate, an option is to cut some off the bottom of the gate, or do something like that, so it sort of gives you some options. In this case here, what I'll probably do is I'll probably also splitting wood. If I'm going to screw that into the timber, instead of going level with like that, I'm better off just hanging it even 25 mil below, another inch below that. So we'll do that, we'll copy, and then what we can do, we're going to do, say 35. I'm going to do our spaces at 21 mil, I reckon. Is that too much? I don't know, let's find out. So we go copy, when we go this way, 21 mil. No, it's overlapping. We want to go erase that. We want to go 21 plus 35 is 56. So we go copy. Now obviously it might not work exactly across there because the opening is 1205 minus 21, so it's going to be 1185 or something like that. And that doesn't mean it's going to divide evenly, so haven't worked that out, but this is just for show at the moment. You don't have to go this far in all this. See, now as I try to copy from this one to that one, it's going to be further apart, so 56 has to be multiples of 56, so it'll be 56, 112, and then you would go, I'm not that good at math, 156 plus 12, I guess, 58, 68, 168, or 268, 168, 168 is, yeah, and what you can do now is just grab all three this time, select, hold down shift, and what did I say, 168, so copy. I think it's a bit easier the more you do, and then hope this works correctly. 168, so you got that there. Now if you wanted to double 168, do the same again, so you grab all those. What was it, 168 times 2, it's 336, copy. So let's move them 336 and see what happens, and we've got the perfect amount again. So 336 times 2 is 672, so we go all of them again, and they're going to have too many. Let's find out 672, and we've got, oh, see, I had the polar tracking wrong, see it's skipped up on me, so we're going to undo that, draw, no, we'll use this one to the arrow there, undo, so we want to select all them again. I'm selecting across the line there because when I select it, it ends up selecting that, so you could just do, you see it's difficult to do it because it just keeps picking up the piece I've got underneath, so I'm just doing it that way to get those ones. And our measurement was 672, so we're going to copy those, copy, and we're going to move them across, and we're going to keep it square this time. Oh, I forgot the measurement, 672. We're going to have too many as usual. Yep, okay. And that's right, we can just individually select these last three and delete them. Even that one there, erase. See what that looks like in the layout. That looks pretty good. So they get the picture of that. But what I'll do, because I've got the gate over here, we can have our dimensions on here, and that's what I was getting to. That's our finished concept, I guess. And go dimensions, linear. Our opening's 1183. So in the gate, and this is 1760, and that's all he really needs to know. He knows that the hinges go, and then we can show him the opening so he can double check that that's correct. So he might go, Dave's probably watching this, but he'll go, oh well, it's 1205 the opening and it is 1183 the correct. Well, he might just rely on my measurements too, so it's best we get it right in case there's any errors. I don't think there will be. So that might be handy for him to know. It's definitely going to be handy, the opening there. We're definitely going to let him know what the post is height from the ground is, so he can just sort of, he's not going to have to look at that or anything, but it's just helpful to know. You never know. He might want to know what the width of these posts are in case something to mount on the gate, to make sure he's so we'll go 90 there. He's going to want to know the length of these. Dimensions, linear. There to there. They should be. They're 571. They're not 571, but yeah. That's about all he needs to know on that, and that's pretty much everything he needs to know. But what we can do is do a few little bits and a couple of leaders in there and just explain what's going on. So one might be to go like that, and just type hinges. And at this point I just usually copy that, and I'll just move it to where I want to go. And then we just get into there, latch, and then we can go copy again, and grab it. If it selects, double click on that. We want to go drop bolt. That'll go to there, and then you'll know that it needs to put a drop bolt on it, a latch, or allow for a latch, because what they do is that we usually buy our own latches and install them, but they'll allow a little bracket here so that we can screw it in, and it all works depending on what latch we use. What else does he have to know? He doesn't have to know the timber that's going on there, but it's always nice to have detail. Leader, so we go 35 by 35 timber battens. There's this text size is too big. I've usually set it quite high, and what you can do a universal edit universally all the text heights for your dimensions, and you do that through format, and you go down to point styles, dimension styles, you click on that, and then you see text height here, so it's set at 125. I think I'd send it always at 125, but depending on the drawing, sometimes I like to see what it says, but I think in this case we could actually almost get it down to 80, I reckon, so it's going to be a lot smaller, and you'll see it changes universally, and it looks a bit better already. I think we could even go smaller than that, so we go format, dimension styles, 80, I think we can go 60, yeah, and you can see that all still pretty clearly. And then in this case what we're going to do is going to layouts manager, because we're not seeing both gates here. Going to landscape, okay, this is a bit flaky, this for some reason it doesn't, it sort of press OK, nothing really happens. It highlights this synchrosome zoom. I just click it off and it fixes itself. But now our window, our viewing port is a bit misaligned now, so we're going to put that back to there, and then we double click on it back into our model space, and we're going to open this up a bit, get that to there. We probably need the room, so there we go, have a look at it. It's looking pretty good. So we've got our frame, gates, posts. You know, you could possibly, I mean, let's get a little bit fancier, I guess. We go draw, polyline, because I couldn't really see these posts. I'm going to put the posts in neat too. Enter, build. I'm going to make them brown. That brown. That brown will do. 100, that. That looks pretty good. Now we've got our posts, and yeah, that actually looks really, really good. So go back to model. You don't have to spend this much time doing detail. This is just all the things you can really do with this program, which makes it a really powerful tool for your landscaping, or just gate making or whatever, concreting. Into filled. Oh, that's not what we want. So let's undo that because we made a mistake. Draw. So we go there. We go to this properties box is very powerful. So always have your properties box open, because anything you pick up or touch, you can manipulate directly through the properties box. So especially these poly lines are very powerful. You just use them probably most of the time. Lines and polylines are probably all I use 90% of the time. And the curve tool occasionally. But you won't need it for doing gates, a curve tool, I doubt, unless it's something very fancy. So you can manipulate, you can see transparencies, color, line weights. If there's a line it has a border, etc. There's heaps of little things you can work out with it. And what's good about that is I can grab this one here. We can see what color that is. Click this one now. Color by layer, but we want to go to 48. We know the transparency was 100. And now we've got two nice posts. These posts are actually black, but to distinguish them from the gate and the other parts I'm just going to do them that way. So we'll give him a bit more detail too. So we'll go dimensions, leader, and we'll just put in here gate frame. Okay, we're going to give this a heading. So we're going to have text, single line. We're going to write this is frame key. And we'll just put that there. Oh, that's not what we want. It's going to be hard to correct. Let me just erase it and start again, because I don't know, once you go off it'll be harder to get straight again, I think. Yeah, it's already there anyway, so just go there, insert it in, keep it straight, lock it in. Yep. I don't like that font, so I'll click on this, and then again in our properties box, again we can change the name, but we're going to change the style. They already got a few styles in here already. You can bring others in, I don't know. I think you really just need to stick to the Arcus style, or City Blueprint is my favourite one, and that's all I usually use. And you can scale that up a bit. Let's make this a bit more spacious. Move this down a smidge so it's in line with the rest of the job. Move that one to there. I think they can be scaled a bit smaller. Heading's a bit small. You don't need that much. Move. It's almost all the information he needs. I like to do these in blue, like a blueprint. You don't have to do it that way. Just black and white. It's just something, I use the like 144, which is this one here. It looks like a blueprint color. I just think blue and white always looks really good, especially for the dimensions. That's why they call things blueprints, I guess. So yeah, and we can write in another one, draw dimensions leader. And we can actually do a little blurb. We'll do a little blurb thing. We're going to draw. Where are we? Text. There it is. Multi-line. Multi-line takes a little bit of getting used to, because it sort of doesn't make sense. So you write it. You do a box first. Cause it's like the other text. But you do a box first. Do a big box. Don't hold back, because otherwise it's hard to find. Sometimes it goes very small. And then we're going to write in what we need. So basically details, gate shall be gate frame, we'll say, shall be made from galvanized tube 30 by 30 powder coated in night sky there a bit. Night sky. What else does it need to say? Latch, hinges, and let's see. Not really much else to really add, to be honest. 3 by 3 times 30 by 30 partition cross members. Prior to powder coating. It's always better to drill the holes first and then powder coat. All dimensions to be confirmed prior. Construction. This is concept and purposes only. Okay, and you can see what's happened. We've made it that way. I didn't need to put all that stuff in. I just wanted to really show you how you can do it. So when you do that, it's just really kind of annoying, this does, because you've got to select these boxes here. It's probably, there's ones over there. Sometimes they end up there, they end up over here. See, this is what I was talking about. And you want to grab one of these, and I think you want to squeeze it all the way in. You squeeze it all the way in, and then you start getting a bit more of a sort of blurb thing. You can squeeze it a bit more, and it's looking better. So we're going to move that back to where we were. You can see it's quite tiny still, even though I made that giant box. So now you want to scale it and move it. And you could do this. Copy this, put that there. Just type notes. Okay. There. Let's have a look at this. I think this is on the same architect style. I don't like that one. So city blueprint. That's better. And put it to. I'm going to scale this one up. Alright, so how's that all going to fit in the sheet? Let's find out. Not well. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to try and put it down here. So it means we're going to move some of these things around. So this one can go to here. Put that to there. Give us a bit more room here. We don't want these crossing over, it looks messy, but it's like that. Let me get that one. Move that to here. We can actually scale that a bit too. Make it a bit bigger. can scale that one too, it looks a bit big. Again, you don't have to do all this trouble. And there's our notes. It almost all just fits. All we've got to do, grab this picture again, and move it this way, and maybe down a smidge. See if you want to be very, fancy, but you don't have to do this. And I kind of like this little thing, so you can go draw, polyline, and you can now we didn't know the measurement for that, so let's hope we can line that up. And then we go like that. We can right click, enter filled. We can just go like, find a colour. Let's sort of 144 again. 44. Okay. And then we'll put it down to really low. So maybe 80. So we go back here. Yeah, I don't like the look of that. So it's a bit much. It doesn't need to be that much. So maybe let's just change the colour a light brown like that. That's better. And maybe let's actually lower this a bit more. Let's go like 30. Really light. That's good. Just enough to distinguish it. Yeah, so in an hour, if I wasn't doing the video, it would have been going quicker. If I wasn't doing as much detail, it'd be quicker too. But yeah, it gives you an idea of how you can go about doing it. So yeah, I think that's enough for this one. What I might do is I'll come back to this with the proper measurements and I'll fine tune it for the final construction, which hopefully will be next week. And yeah, we haven't saved this yet, so it would have been a good idea to save regularly. So in this case, we're going to file save as. I'm going to start any of my gate designs. I'm going to start with the gate from now on, and this will be a Torquay, so they're easy to find. I tend to name things really badly, or just like draw this gate inside another plan that's not in relation to the other plan, and therefore when I go to find it later, I can't find it, and that's not good. So yeah, let's see what it looks like on a PDF. So there's a couple of ways to do this. So now you've drawn your drawing, and you've got to send it off to Dave. Let's see what we're going to do. Okay, so the easiest way is just go File, Save as PDF, because it's got an internal PDF printer, I guess. Apparently, I can't remember how it goes, but if you use the internal PDF printer, where we've used transparency, it works. Your transparency works through a normal printer when you're printing things, but it doesn't work when you use a program like Qt PDF printer, which is what used to rely on. But I generally just exporting with the Save PDF function here. I've got another PDF thing called Foxit Reader. So, like, say if I went to print and I go, see, I've got Foxit Reader PDF printer. So let's try that and see what happens out of curiosity. Okay, we'll just go to desktop and we'll just go test. Let's put test on there. Testing. Save. I haven't used this in a long time. I think I might have tried it once before. I can't remember what happened. It's a bit flaky, Foxit Reader. It works well. It's a good reader, but for some reason it won't open. Look, it's sort of just not responding, it says, but I've got a lot of things open in the background. I'm not sure why it's doing that. I'm not sure if it's Foxit Reader. this Foxit Reader here. This is displaying one of the other ones I exported with the internal exporting tool. But let's go back. Is it still not responding? It's not having a good time of it. It's having a bad time of it now. Sometimes it sits there not responding, and it will eventually respond. No, it's come good. So it may have actually printed it. It hasn't got it here. Let's see if we can find it. Close that. Yeah, here it is here. Let's see what happens. Open it up. Format error, not PDF or corrupted. So I'd say the transparency has caused some issue, or maybe it's just not enough memory. Something's gone wrong with it because they've got lots of different things open, and I tend to run out of memory a little bit. All those things open. So let's just try it the other way. It might not be that at all. It might just be that the transparency was on. So we'll go to high. Give that I want to crack. Look at desktop. Testing 2. Save. Usually if it works, which it should do, it'll just open automatically in Foxit Reader. Here it goes, see? Works straight away. So the transparency remains, everything. So I'd say just continue, just use the internal exporting tool is the best way. Save as PDF, and now you're ready to email it off to whoever you want. And then if you want to, print it the old school way. So that's worked quite well. So yeah, really good plan for a constructor to work from and get an idea of everything's going on. Cool. Till next time.